good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting, riveting, amazing Propagandacast from your host, Imperial Dane, the one, the only master of propaganda. Your only sanctioned and authorized source of propaganda and company news and entertainment, of course. Off here to 1 vs 1 on Crossing the Woods from the north, it is VonAsten, the Dutch wonder boy, fighting here for the Wehrmacht, Germany, Deutschland, taking on the role here of the, let's just say 4th Panzer Division. In the south, it is CN, aka Creative Name. Not quite a Dutch wonder boy. In fact, I think he's from Germany, or possibly France. Fighting here for the Soviet Union, Comrade Sterling, taking on the role here of the 7th Mechanized Corps. We got Special Operations, we got Overwatch, we got Fortification there for National Triple Infantry versus Creative Names, Guard Rifle, Armoured Assault, and Guard Motor. A very creative assembly there of doctrines with double infantry and mine bulletins, specifically for faster building of mines. Basically, just sort of dig a bit deeper and a bit faster. You know, that's the trick to getting mines down fast. It's push the shovel down just a bit faster. Actually, I don't know, but I guess that's how I do it. It's either just sort of skip a bit on some of the safety elements and laying down mines, which again, I don't know much about. Sadly, I don't know many professional mine layers who could sort of tell me about it, because I imagine if you're sort of, speeding up, you might also have more issues. But anyway, it's got Trouble Comes there for Creative Name. A very bold, aggressive sort of strategy. Again, common build is still a lot of penal troopers versus the Ober Commanders, but still, you get more with heavy conscript builds. We got Triple Folds there for VonAsten, much more standard. Of course, that could change once the patch rolls out and we get some slightly more useful Sturm Pioneers long term. For those engineers are close, going them down there with well-placed Kar 98K shots. These obviously are not going to be experiencing any great successes there, except maybe buying enough time for someone else to arrive, beat the active Germans. So, I mean, they actually did a lot of damage in the end, so it's not all bad for Creative Name, it's not all bad for the engineers. Well, the one that survived, the rest obviously may not be quite as ecstatic about the success, because they're dead. Conscripting for the Western Field Pioneer, we've got Sturm Pioneers nearby. This is going to be much more together for Creative Name, because Germans get close. Obviously, the conscripts will lose, and Creative Name makes the corrective decision, which is just press hard retreat, since in these situations you want more than one conscript squad, or you want to be in a really strong position, and Creative Name had neither of those two requisite elements. Fighting here for the Eastern Victory Points, 2 conscripts, 1 Volkswagen squad. That's definitely a win there for Creative Name, and most of the folks can do some extra damage. Maybe make it a bit harder for Creative Name to push onwards, but in the end, retreating here as well is the right decision there for VonAsten. We got more conscripts on the way there for Creative Name, more folks there for VonAsten. Both basically are just committing hard to infantry that way, trying to overwhelm the other fellow. Very good here. Back here, troops reinforcing. No healing yet. Medics have yet to be requisitioned by Creative Name. Believe me, his manpower can be spent on better things like vodka, cheap cigars from Cuba, and other things. Sandbags there by the Eastern Victory Point. Grab the Centre Victory Point there, folks moving up the west side. And we got conscript engineers pushing westwards. There was the Sturm Pioniere. Bit of shooting there. There we go, flank with the full against the conscripts, and again up close. The conscripts should have the upper hand. Not really the best situation, but they actually got heavy cover here due to the tank trap there. But the folks actually aren't enjoying their cover bonus. So this, I mean, there might be some good hits for the folks, but still feel like it should be one here by Creative Name. Again, maybe not. Maybe not. There is also something at a certain range. Covers means, I think, less as well. So there's something there maybe. Either way, though, that worked out. Surprised whether VonAsten, because it was a bit lucky. But the Flame for Engineers should change that. And these got a big push here by VonAsten. 3 Volkswagen squads quickly overwhelmed here. Creative Names, 1 conscript squad. That is, pretty straightforward mathematics there. Back here, troops reinforcing. We finally got the mix up there for Creative Name. Up here, we got the truck moving about there for VonAsten and the German army, the Schwere Wehrmacht Schlepper. Sturm Pioneers good to go. One of several vehicles they made for the Eastern Front, sort of transport stuff about. There's also the Rauchenschlepper Ost, which is sort of a fully tracked vehicle. You can occasionally find bits of wreckage of it, in certain maps from Relic. I don't think this is one. Even more fun fact about the Rauchenschlepper Ost is they actually made a tank destroyer. Let's go. Actually, this is the Rauchenschlepper Ost. It might actually be the Consulettes, which actually looked a bit similar, but I believe this is the Rauchenschlepper Ost. Or at least it looks off to it, if we can talk about it. And then they sort of made a tank destroyer version, which is basically a large wooden platform with a Pack 40 on it. Little fun fact there. Consuls of Sturm Pioneers, folks are backing up. Folks, they have to fall back since VonAsten easily overwhelms them. We got Darkness just the Creative Name. It is Guard Motor. You'd think all these conscripts would go for, Guard Rifles and such, synergizes more easily, but certainly Guard Motor isn't a poor doctrinal choice either. Gives a Guardsman, gives him mortars, and of course gives him the T-3045, which is very good in particular getting up in numbers, which is obviously the Soviet tank game. It's just get a bunch over the map and just steamroll your opponent very hard with them. Seizing points in the west with engineers and conscripts. Trooping up in the side, confidently Governor get overwhelmed here a bit too rapidly by VonAsten, which is exactly what is happening here. It's going to have to retreat again. Good unit preservation, always knowing when a fight is just basically just you wasting time and just get your men out of there without wasting manpower. And also, crucially, not feeding your opponent experience, which you don't really want them to have. So we got healing enforcement there. Could go for Guardsmen in a few moments. DP light machine, of course, wielding Guardsmen are quite effective as Fultz Grenadiers. One reason to go for them generally is just they caught up quite well. Fultz Grenadiers tend to struggle with them, in particular at longer ranges. The Guardsmen tend to beat them quite effectively. Back here, the healing enforcement going on there. There you go. Guardsport can be silent fourth here by creative name. Meanwhile, VonAsten's got the mechanized rating up. That's going to mean a looks, which is certainly going to make Guardsman look a bit better as well and a bit more attractive for creative name, though he's obviously going to need a bunch of them. I'll wait Guardsman out there. Bit short munitions there for the DP light machine guns, but not far off. Flamethrower gives moving up. Let's push out the fascists from the heavy cover there. With the power fire. Engineers using the western munitions point here, or Sturmpioniere. Minesweeper in hand. In case creative name has already been laying down mines, so then you always got to assume, in particular against experienced players like VonAsten and creative name, that your opponent's going to be laying down mines. So thumbs up there. Then of course, the creative name are going for flamethrowers. We'll have to go for another engineer squad to get minesweepers, because we know VonAsten's been laying down mines. Looks is on the way there for VonAsten. Guardsmen opening up. DP light machine is on the way. Securing the western side there. VonAsten's already got good map control. Of course, that could rapidly change in the blink of an eye. The swing of a pendulum. The squeak of a squeaky toy. Guardsmen pushing use there, got the DP light machines ready. Might want to be careful about their approach. Against the folks they're making use of their creative names heavy cover. Of course, the flame engineers will assist with dealing at least parts of that. Looks they're almost on. Guardsmen up there, hammering away there with their most of their guns, to tank rifles and their DP light machine guns. Using the western point T, moving up the eastern side, going straight for the fuel point. Good move there. Mines being laid down as well. Creative name showing he can lay down mines. Looks out there for VonAsten. And lots of medical supplies there for VonAsten, so indicating he is not going to go for the Battle Group headquarters right away, though he could. I mean, he's likely starting here for the special rifle, or the special operations doctrine, but he could also be going for other things. I mean, it is rare to see someone go mechanized range and then not go for it, but he could. He could. Around the eastern point here, very good. Looks moving in. MG34 on the way there for VonAsten. Help deal with the creative names infantry instead of 5 squad from the guard squad. A deep MG34 is going to be quite heavily. Got concept. This is a large German infantry assault here. Quickly routed over here by VonAsten's infantry there. Looks trying to stay safe here from the guardsmen. Of course, consider baiting to the right position. That looks at a chance, but even the guardsmen are quite effective versus lighter tanks like that. In particular, with the unheavy cover. The looks will definitely struggle. It's not exactly a unit to dug in anti-tank infantry with. Back here, reinforcement healing, noting that creative name has yet to take up whatsoever. We haven't seen a supporting company or special rifle commander at this stage. I'm kind of expecting a supporting company. I mean, he could go for special rifle command, but it would be a bit silly looking. Skirmishing these, being pushed back by the Fultz Grenadiers, pulling into heavy cover. Same happening here a bit further to the west. West side is all being seized by VonAsten. Creative name is overall on the defensive. As VonAsten is unleashing the full weight here of the 4th Panzer Division in this sector upon him. You've got the spawn coming there, they're going up for creative name finally. Maximums of field guns here, Max going to happen. I think with the looks out, he's more likely to go for the field gun just to make sure he's got something that can punch some holes in it besides the guardsman. There you go, pushed back by the sheer weight here of VonAsten's assault. Now the MG34 on the way with VonAsten, certainly focusing more and more on controlling just creative names infantry movements. Definitely not bad. Oh, we got the support 10% coming up. He's not going to bother with that. Might be a T70, might be an HM6M. Could also be a choice here. They're trying to sort of rush out. Let's put an anti-tank when it at it, but I quickly routed here. As VonAsten, the devious and sportsman-like bastard, just pulls the looks away from the infantry, trying to threaten it with an anti-tank grenade. Mine there spotted by VonAsten Sturmpioniere. Obviously they got slightly higher priorities there with the surge in front of them, but even they might be able to clear out the mines. The mine there. While they do it now. If they can, so there we go, get around to doing it. Looks apparently taking that as a kill. Good hit! See, he didn't even disarm that mine. I'm still claiming it as a kill. God damn it, Jürgen. Trying away the VonAsten. Could be Belgrove headquarters most likely, but it could be a schwer punted quarters. He could be, but I'm not super sold on it. And again, with the match he has, he could get away with it. But it could be a strong move instead of trying to wait out for some command panther, just trying to push out for fast medium armor. Grab the eastern field point again. Creative Name is sort of struggling here to break through VonAsten's stranglehold. The addition of all these MG34 certainly making it easier to VonAsten to contain Creative Name. Flares popping off there. T7 on the way there for Creative Name. His hopes and dreams rest upon this tiny tank now, I think, here versus VonAsten, because we got the Tron away that he's got most of the map. He's getting most of the victory points, the fuel. And Creative Name is in a bit of a tight spot here. Got a flank going on here. Folks with assault rifles quickly riding Creative Name's consequence there and basically opening up his left flank, which is already looking pretty weak. T70 almost done here. Van Grenade and regular grenade off there. Didn't quite pan out there for Creative Name. There you go. Folks can continue the western flank there. Troops pushing westwards. He's trying to keep VonAsten tied down while also pushing westwards, but so far it hasn't quite panned out. But now it might just work as VonAsten is looking to squeeze out Creative Name's remaining eastern forces like a big stubborn pimple. T-Snowing force there for Creative Name and the Red Army. But in fact, let's create VonAsten, since his forces do have one particular gap in it. They do not have any anti-tank weapons, meaning if Creative Name can handle this T-70 with sufficient skill and courage, and so sort of ensure it doesn't get immediately blown up, but also keep VonAsten on the back foot, maybe pushing back a bit, you could have a good chance of gaining some fresh momentum and possibly turn this game around a bit more in his favour. Because right now, VonAsten is looking very much favoured to win this. I mean, he's already got the schwer punter borders out. He's getting a lot of fuel. He won't be able to push for a Panther 4 reasonably fast. And you've heard being pursued by the T-70. Almost got the entire MG34 team there. Seizing the western points. Troops setting out. Schwerer Panzerhauptquartier. And there you go. Mine goes off. Conscripts hit a mine. Sandbags down there. So now, of course, Creative Name knows his opponent has mines out. And he knows he doesn't have any mines to deal with it. Sandbags going to be built there, or dug in. Bit of quiet here. Still. Big push there from Creative Name across the front. We got more mines down there. Very good. VonAsten is focusing most of these forces in the east, leaving the centre and the west quite open there for Creative Name to gobble up. T7 flanking the MG34, fielding away for Creative Name to help deal with the looks, but he's also likely beginning to worry about, Panzer Force and other larger things, in which case, again, the field guns be quite handy. Counter flanking in there, we got Nura in there, VonAsten is still without a doctrine, though. At this stage, I'd say special operations looks less likely to, happen, so watch your fortifications. I mean, both doctrines have a howitzer, so it's not necessarily going to be that's going to be the deciding factor. But certainly with a small and more enclosed map, I could see fortifications working out, particularly since VonAsten that sometimes had a lot of success grabbing a lot on the map. You could have used fortifications, just dig in and make a match out of Creative Name to sort of get back onto the map in the first place. Of course, Overwatch also offers some stuff there. T-17 created another Kedden effort. 88 men rockets flying through the sky, or the air. In the centre, we got constant pushback. We got engineering moving up with flamethrower, catching a lot of VonAsten's infantry there in a slightly scorched situation. Grab the centre victory upon there. T70 definitely moving around there under Creative Name's adroit visualization of it. Continue to push there with that anti-tank support there. An easy target for the T70. Quickly punishing VonAsten's greed and high-handedness with a tiny T70 of terror. But there you go, double Panther fast volley there. Quickly almost knocks out Creative Name T70, almost turning the tables on him, but not quite. Just flipping it over on its side. A bit. There comes Basil. Filter this as conscripts, grabbing the eastern munitions point here. There's a kit in there for. Still no doctrine from him. No sign of anything out of the Schwerer Panzerhauptquartier. Could go for some overrun at some point. I'm guessing the Panther 4 is the priority here. quite an effective medium tank in particular versus large clumps of infantry like Creative Name is employing, rather than sandbags, but once more we got the looks on the job, the guards coming in to try and disrupt that attempted disruption. Left side is, I think, wide open there for push for VonAsten to grab the victory point, the fuel point back there out of Creative Name's hands. Bit of control in the centre here. Still no further sort of signs or anything there from VonAsten. On the Creative Name goes more defensive strategy, I mean fortifications, Overwatch with the howitzer could be quite good. So we try and blast his way through Creative Name strong points and shatter his support weapons. Looks as the counter got the T swing up, engaging the T swing like Kevin up in response on the T70. Could end up a bit ugly there for Creative Name. He was not careful, got lucky there. Big push for the center counter there, being swarmed by hordes of assault rifle and non-assault rifle wielding Fultz Grenadiers there. Almost taking out the squad, got a sort of raining down there, dodges it though, and the Constant Hand does not dodge the bullets, instead, well, expires. Looks like something damaged engine, but does survive while else the encounter there with the conscripts. T7 moving in to deal with the Fultz, almost taking out their heavy casualties amongst VonAsten's infantry. Once more, extending an inch enough again, he's ignoring the west there. Might be a case of mild tunnel vision there for VonAsten. And strain to mine as well there. Some heavy losses there for VonAsten's infantry, leaving him a bit aggressively challenged at the moment. Field bombardment there, trying to take out the MD-34. Quickly falling back there, very good. We got the mechanized number company for Creative Name. You can go for T-35 soon. VonAsten there struggling a bit with fuel now. And again, is not pushing for the western fuel. It's like he's expecting something to be there, but it's not. Unless he's terribly afraid of that one guard squad with all the infantry and the looks he's got there. I mean, it's obviously something to be terrified about, but I don't think he should be that terrified. We got an maximum on the way there for Creative Names out to call the MD-34. That's obviously not the case. Loosening up, their cover immediately shatters beneath the Luke's withering autocannon fire. Maximum team out there, T-swing up the eastern side, backing up a conscript move for the eastern fuel point. VonAsten is now committing hard against the east side. West side once more remains some sort of no man's land in VonAsten's name, a terra incognita. Where monsters and one-eyed cyclopses rule and whatnot. Fultz pushing up through the center, counter being routed. Field gun there, also an easy target here for VonAsten. Is overwhelmed, still no doctor from. They've got the max on the way there. East side is taking heavy fire from the T center, got 11 kills on it, half 8 of X and 3. Quickly falls back as soon as the Kednev is spotted. Good response there by Creative Name, who can soon go for the T-45. VonAsten can go for the Panther 4 soon, of course. He could consider going for the Panther instead, which only work better versus the T-45s, where the Panther 4 does tend to fall short. Using the points there. Comes there being routed. T-Sun as the Fulscum is there. And Guardsmen are just having a nice trip on the west side, like a little bit of light camping. As VonAsten continues to exert absolutely no effort into the west side of the map, despite he could easily exert just some and he just push it wide open. MD-34 being routed by the guards inside the house. There we go, T-35 on the way there for Creative Name. VonAsten's not far off from a Panther at this stage. It can be the only thing I think he really could go for that would make sense. It's either if it got to go for the Panther 4, but once he sees the T-35 he should be going for the Panther anyway, since again Panther 4 versus T-35 is very much T-45 favoured. I mean, they cost... Well, the T-35 is actually cheaper, but while he doesn't have more armor, he does have better penetrative abilities and has more health, which tends in most cases to give an upper hand versus the Panther 4, in particular in larger numbers, which the T-35 can reach more easily. But there you go. VonAsten can go for the Panther now, should go for the Panther now, in my opinion. I mean, in theory, he could be trying to stop for the King Tiger, though that would describe as a bit considering he's not putting a lot of effort into the other fuel point, but there you go. T-35 spotted there, backed up by the T-70 light tank. Panther fast off, they came there. Oh! T-70 abandoned. Ooh, that's kind of fortuitous there for Creative Name, can sort of get his hands on it. VonAsten's right flank collapsing, still no sign of any armour. Kind of Panzerkampfwagens being summoned forth here. He's going to work the repairing the T-70 light tank. Shroud Hunted quarters remain silent like a tomb. Guards there being suppressed. So what will VonAsten go for? I mean, is he possibly still considering just going for the Command Panther? I mean, I guess he could. Or is he considering a King Tiger? Which, I mean, I guess is an option as well. That's going to be a bit on the longer side there. But I do think he needs to make a decision soon. I mean, the longer waits for his Creative Name, the more he's just going to go for T-35, because Creative Name knows what he wants to go for. That's the T-34-85. I mean, there's no doubt there in Creative Name's mind as to what's going to happen. No Shakespearean dialogue, as, you know, he rests with the internal turmoil. Oh my goodness! Oh no! He's just moved on from the T-70, assuming someone else had it. If VonAsten sees this, he could steal a perfectly repaired T-70 light tank. Panther's on the way there for VonAsten, by the way, and there we go. T-70 spotted. VonAsten realizes Creative Name's mistake. I don't think Creative Name's realized that I should be rushing troops towards. There we go. Grand Theft Panzerkampfwagen in its purest form. And silliest, possibly. And now he might wipe out the conscripts there with the stolen T-70. That would be, oh, brutally humiliating there for Creative Name. And rude. But then this is war. Almost got them. But yeah, it would have been a very bitter pill for Creative Name to swallow if, again, the T-70 fixed up and forgot about was then stolen. And on top of that, of course, which did happen, of course, then proceed to wipe one of his units out there. That would have been just, ooh, deliciously ironic in a strange way. But his Panther's heading out there. Well, it'll be interesting to see how Creative Name sort of handles the realization again his opponent's stolen his T-70 and after he just forgot about it. That's the sort of stuff you'd be like see someone being interviewed about on like a news channel. Just like, so could you tell us about how you repaired your T-70? And it then got done. He's like, I don't know. I got drunk. I don't know. Could have gotten drunk. Anyways, Panther's running about here. Troops running through the 17 suppressed there by the MD-34. Light tanks and down repairs got repair partners and weather for VonAsten. Panther there with pin-up machine all the way, very good. Still no doctrine for VonAsten. Still no overarching grand plan for a Grand Slam. Sturm Punch moving up the west side there. Finally moving into the west side. Perhaps having got no his phobia of the west side of the map. Maybe it's something specific to Dutch culture. I don't know. Anyways, guys, the Panther MD-34 backing up. Forces moving up here in the east side. The Sword grab the eastern victory point, or field point, and other point. T-34 pushing through the center here. Machine gun wiped out by the might of the T-35 and its 85mm gun. MD-34 being suppressed here with Maxim, slowly, and, well, Creative Name can begin soon going for another T-35. VonAsten's definitely going to, oh, he's going for opposite line, that's a very nice pick there, there's all the infantry. Nope, the conscripts, the ones that have survived, have been, at the mobilized reserves upgrade out of there, very good. The fourth, that obviously didn't survive, can't get it. Trying to grab MD-34 there before Creative Name destroys it with the SIS-3 field gun, and it's going to try and bombard it, so that will clear it out, and then proceed to destroy it again. Explosion doesn't do the job. And there you go. Good work there for Creative Name. Looks moving up the eastern side. T-70 is almost good to go there for VonAsten and the German army, the 4th Panzer Division. Folks are flanking up there. Very good move here. Backed up with the looks. Guards from Max moving in from the south. Looks need to get out of there. Got the Overwatch holding up with an MD-34. Soon to be within the hands, and there you go, machine getting bombarded here by the T-35. 9 kills for Kevin learns up the returning hit. And Creative Name summons forth another T-35. Confident against the looks here, closing on Metchney 3. West side there with the engineers. Troop reinforcing. And there you go, pushing into the west side again, moving into clearly unknown territory for VonAsten. T-35 opening up the full communities, not a good push there for VonAsten. He's struggling, I think, a bit here with trying to handle everything. They've of course got the T-Stone flanking the max on the west side, very good. I'm getting the T-70 back up here in the west, and there goes second. T-35 mobilised there for creative name, and the sound for mechanized core. Brutal fighting continues to get them cleared out. They're not good there. Panthers getting repaired up, good. And there you go, engineers route in the west, opening up the western fuel point there for VonAsten once more. Still no sign of a doctrine here from VonAsten. No clear plan. I mean, fortifications with a howitzer and some signature I feel like could be effective. Machine gun bunkers and S-mines could also be quite handy tools. In theory, even the flag in emplacement. And I suppose in a pinch, a pack for free could also be, quite effective, maybe punching some very large, effective holes in the T-45s. Plus the howitzer could be used as the field gun, so the support towards the west being gunned down with the T-45. And the east side of the assault there, not I would say particularly beautifully executed there, but VonAsten has been repulsed. Partly due to lack of infantry, partly because, he kind of got stuck there and the field gun just had free target practice against his tanks, which is usually not what you want to be fighting the enemy with. T-35 they're falling back here for creative name. Maxim hauling about there, and there you go, caught out in the oven by the orbital dart and spewing out lead furiously. Ooh, not quite there to pop the bun grenade. There we go, got battle lightning off. An almost Herculean throw, but not quite in the end. Maxim almost taken out, but it does survive a few members who gets away. Panther Jack falls back, empty grenade off the midst of the fault grenadiers, causing stacker and casualties. Field gun gets away from the Panthers. Mad dash, then we go buttoning it up. They're all of a sudden trying to move up to support. T-45 could threaten here, but they do not, interestingly enough. Still no doctrine for VonAsten. They could soon go for Yak Panzer, go for another Panther, go for a Panther 4. Although I think in this case you just consider more armour, just to pressure creating them faster, because again, two T-35s should not be taken lightly. Either that or how to just to blast apart creative name support weapons and occasionally some infantry, which again will isolate the T-35s, make much easier than for VonAsten to just deal with them at his own pace. Panther landing a nice hit that was hard lost a gun, and there you go, finally, almost half an hour into the game here. VonAsten picks a doctrine, it is Overwatch. Not a bad pick, but obviously uses for the farmland, though most players never do. We got their sector assault ready again. Howitzer, could be a pretty good pick here versus creating missions again. Field guns, but suddenly found themselves, being dealt with a bit more rapidly, supporting weapons otherwise, like the Maxims, and even if they could be broken up, so it could be quite effective with a howitzer here for VonAsten. Otherwise, I'd probably just recommend either Yak Panzer or another Panther, even a Panther 4, but just something to put pressure on and also just equalise the numbers with the T-35s. West side once more falling into oblivion in its creative name, well, ceases it and gives it Soviet enlightenment. Pushing forward, we've got the Max on the way. Good use by the Max on there by creative name, really sort of locking down a lot of VonAsten's movements. There you go, looks see something, catching the Max in the bad spot. T-35 kind of taking it backed up by double field guns now, doubles his threes. Panther moving up, landing a good hit there. Other T-35 moving in. Looks there weaving away. Fortunately, almost being obliterated here by the two T-35s before VonAsten realises he's about to send them to an early grade, which really doesn't serve him or Germany very well and orders them to retreat. On the west side here we got the Maxim there, MT-14 with a counter squad, but lacks a bit of finishing push there. Creative name's eastern push continues, centre there routed, west side again wide open. Trying away for VonAsten, that's going to be the battle group headquarters. Might be he's planning for the King Tiger now. Bold move here, bold move. It could work out if you can execute it properly, but at the same time, we could also give Creative more time just bring up more armor and sort of gain more dominance, at which point the King Tiger might try to sort of gain the requisite axes that he needs to really push through there. Flanking the Maximum, good work with VonAsten, noting this unit has not been upgraded at all. Might be wants to be sure he can pick up some DP lap machine guns, perhaps. Not entirely out of this world as a possibility there. Looks closing on Metzing 4, T-70 there closing on Metzing 2 for VonAsten and the German army. Flares popping off. West side there, T-35 slowly advancing as the full community scored. Veterans 1 gain there, very good. I'll score T-35 halfway to Veteran 2. Maxim there getting pummeled out in the open. Panther though remains reserved in its movements versus creative name. Kevin they're setting up. Veteran 2-1. Good hit on the T-55. T-7 moving in. Panthers looks also to be setting off there. As he seemingly continuing east to east, hoping to draw away tanks away from the east of them, sort of make a move with infantry and light tanks. The field gun backing out, the Maxim's going to make it a bit more difficult to not do it with a larger force. Unless he got artillery though, so far. VonAsten does not seem particularly concerned with artillery. Almost marking the Fulton is here with the T-7 conscript there, and he did not retreat, perhaps underestimating just how lethal the T-70 is. So yeah, T-70 is nasty. Ground the western point here with the Fulton Grenadiers, using sandbags laid down by the conscripts. Almost an extension of the German ones. You might notice there's a bit of difference in quality there between the two. T-55 moving up there. T-7 being bombarded. Kevin joining in, but there's just not really anything for them to seriously shoot at. Panther moving westwards. He's a bit short on manpower due to the T-55 and everything else just bleeding out VonAsten here, so he's struggling a bit to get out that battle group headquarters. Anti-tank grenade does something, but not a lot to the Panther. Field gun moving in as well. And we got the other T-55 arriving. Engaging with its main gun, and there you go, big push here by VonAsten into the east. Maxim there could be cleared out if it sort of flanks deep enough. And, oh, got suppressed there. Going for the western fuel point, very good. And Maxim falling back there, and so retreating. Might be a bit too late here though. With a bit of luck for VonAsten, or bad luck for creative name, depending how you view it. Close there, but does look like we will escape here, though I'm sure VonAsten did his best. Here with a good old college shrine. The center of the Maxim was the Sturm Ponies, pantomiming up by Kedma sneaking about. Grabbing the eastern fuel. T-55 they're slowly advancing, in the center we've got field guns moving about. They're not entirely sure where VonAsten's next push is going to come from. Truck setting up there for the battle group headquarters finally. Still some of the howitzer, which again, there's a double field gun the way that creative name is bunching them out, I think could be a very good pick. Field gun to the bottom like Kedma, he's going to have to get that one out fast. And there you go, T-55 flying westwards. Good handing over of creative name by this T-55. He's using them a lot more aggressively than VonAsten using his Panther. He's also just shifting about here and there, so I think he's in that regard handling quite well. He's avoiding sort of decisive engagement, just looking for what VonAsten sort of shows that he's slackening off the line and then hitting hard there. Very good. Strategy there, I would say, by creative name, very good strategy. Exploiting here that VonAsten seems a bit less confident in his Panther, and is always pushing in more tanks, and of course he's using that to, of course, fill in the gaps with more tanks. I mean, strategically, I would say creative name is doing this quite well versus VonAsten, whereas VonAsten seems strategically timid, which is a bit problematic since the Ober Commanders is more of an aggressive faction. T-55 moving up. Bit of skirmishing there. T-54 falling back. Other units beginning to plug in the gap there, plus T-54 going to fight in the flank. Very good. West side again remains very open. Of course, it makes it easy for him to increase just, focus his defense on the east since he realizes VonAsten just keeps pushing for it. 200 points left for VonAsten, 317 was a creative name. Luke strikes and routes the Maxim. Well, he's got the fuel for a King Tiger, and I just needs the manpower and the population quantity to sort of get that going. He might have a chance. There we go. Panther on the T-55, he can sort of move in some armor and tanks to deal with it. He might have shot here, plus anti-aircraft support from anti-tank support from above from the tank assault. T-7 looks long back from the T-55 on the west, but that's going to likely be the loss of the T-7 into the T-55. Air support raining down here, but he doesn't have... doesn't have an outside there. Ooh, T-55 taking a few hits. It's actually saving the T-55, I think they're from taking the brunt there of VonAsten's anti-tank air support there. Pretty lucky there. Unit getting wiped out here though. Could steal the field and turn against the creative name Panther up against the D-55. So it's going to be two on the Panther. Very good. But again, no, he's certainly trying his best to stay at sort of range, but at the same time he can't just stay too far at range either since the Panther isn't doing anything. there's a bit of a sort of a dance there for VonAsten, you know. Too close and obviously the Panther's going to be less effective, but too far away it's also not going to be very effective. So it's a bit of a trick there, and so far VonAsten seems to be playing the more cautious route here. Since obviously losing the Panther too fast would be a huge loss for VonAsten. He is, and just building up more and more fuel, manpower wise, just constantly struggling, and that could delay a bit the whole King Tiger planning. He might have to go for something else. I mean, again, just another Panther could be solid. Panzer IV could work out, but with an increasingly large number of T-35s, I feel like a Jagdpanzer Panther is the best option, simply because they can have the most range and the most sort of raw firepower, and you know, decent amount of armor at least. The Panther at least could deal with it. So one of those things, what it's going to need. And in that regard, I feel like the Panther will just be, you know, lost in a tide of T-35s. That Maximal's right here by the looks. Decently back for repairs alongside the Panther, the Panzerkampfwagen 5. Orbisline pinned down and forced to retreat. Panzer goes routed. Academy for healing and enforcing. Medics on the way there for VonAsten. Panther landing a nice hit there. Very close to Destiny 2. 163 versus 317. Using the T-35 to seize the victory points. Thumbs up there for actually using the ability most players don't. Guards moving up. Noting no merges there from his conscripts. Center victory point almost ceased. Back here, troops reinforcing. T-70 being fixed up there. Panther lost in the T-35 down the engine, pushing down to half health. Orbs on there, good to go. 21 kills. Max amount here with the jump unit, gaining veteran 2. MD-34 there for veteran 3. We've got Lux hammering away there. Gaining ace level, but could go down quick enough to the field guns. In fact, he's not going to get out of there now. It's going to die unless. Oh, he switches to the Panther. Good luck there for VonAsten. T-35 there heavily damaged, but doesn't have anything to finish it off with. That's certainly good there for creative name. Since losing a T-35 now, particularly there's more runners, more veteran runners would be detrimental there for his future. But again, survival is great there. VonAsten slow pushing towards the Panther there. T-35 moving up here. Backed up by Field. T-70 charges in there. That seems a bit ambitious there. Might have been a misclick there or miss selection there. Either way, T-70 could go down, and it does go down. Ace T-70 tank that went down for VonAsten. Minor blow there for the German army. Going for the Panzer IV now. Seems like a panic response because again, there's that many T-35s. I don't particularly feel like a Panzer IV is like the best choice. I cannot say I feel like that's the best choice there by VonAsten. It does seem a bit panicky, a bit like, you know, oh, Scheiße, I need something, I need it fast. So he kind of went for the Panzer IV, despite again, versus T-35s, it is not particularly amazing. Particularly not versus virtually 2 and 3 because they have a high rate of fire, which certainly, you know, exposes the weakness of the Panzer IV, even the Model J versus the T-35s more. I mean, this is the sort of option where you really want Stoops to like just quickly bring up a lot of firepower. That one, the cheap, but the closest guard is either Jagdpanzer or the Panther. They can sort of match it, and neither of those are particularly cheap, but the Jagdpanzer still think to be infinitely better than the Panzer IV here. That's that. We got the Panzer IV, the army here for VonAsten and the German army, the 4th Panzer to be short. Fixing up the T-35 there. The only reason creative name right now isn't going for more is because he's just PopCap. Otherwise, I'm sure creative name would love to go for a 4th T-35 and then just grind VonAsten to fine Dutch dust, which I'm sure is some sort of metaphor for some sort of particular narcotic, but that's another story. MD-34 getting blast with the T-35. Panther IV should out the pinball machine, constantly pinned down there, but MD-34 gaining veteran T4. Panther landing a nice hit there on the T-35. Conscript guards pushing force them for the west side. Guardsman comes standing about there. T-35 getting the full grenadiers. Max being slowly shot to bits. Bit of skirmishing here, but overall VonAsten remains in the defensive aggressively here as his creative name. He is starting to open up new paths, up new vectors of German beatdown to the Soviet army, and that's really just making it easy for creative name to just sort of slowly squeeze them out. Decent hit in the T-35. Panther moving up. Definitely not what he should be spearheading with, though, against any sort of Soviet formation. Bombardment in the MT there. Panther moving forwards. Getting the T-35. Field immediately switching over to just firing arm piercing rounds. There you go. Shoots, misses, though. But then again, eventually Fleet has a high rate of fire, of course, good penetration, so there you go. Quick follow-up hit on the Panther. That'll likely be another one. There we go, another penetrating hit there, easily happening. Orbital getting eventually Fleet there, 31 kills. Good work there. T-35 on the other side. Luke's taking hits there. Panther 4 moving in. Comes there retreating in the face of the mächtige Obersoldaten. Panther 4 there, striking with the T-35. Fielding just hammering their hook to murder the Raketenwerfer crew there. Which is desperately trying to avoid getting shattered by high explosive round. "22 kills on the T-35 there, 25 on the other one, and 2 on the other. Panther there being fixed up, sort of. VonAsten is feeling the heat, he's feeling the pressure here from creative name. Fixing up his tanks, using self-repair to speed up the process. Very good there. Creative name understanding that one of the key elements of just, tank fighting is ensuring your tanks are always ready. Like the less time they spend off the battlefield, the better. So using self-repair just to speed up the process is just really good when you repair it. So 2 thumbs up there to creative name. Very good tactical strategic play there. Ken playing a good hit on the T-35, which is halfway to the H level. Owen is almost in fact. Panther moving ahead here, halfway to the H level as well on that one. Very good. 75 points left for VonAsten. That decision needs to be made. Doom Pioneer moving forwards. Machine gun there being flanked by the T-35 there. Halfway to eventually 2. Panther moving up. Machine gun crew annihilated. Panther charging forward here. Field guns opening up there. Air support called in here. Looks like VonAsten is do or die, all or nothing. Problem is Panther's already got a damaged engine. Panther down to half health rate. In fact, less than that from the field gun. Air support running down here, but they're missing one of the T-35s there. Doing a bit more damage to that one. Panther about to go down. Panther is, I think, getting in the water here. Panther down to the T-35s there. Ace level gain on the first one. The situation is, I think, unraveling here for VonAsten rapidly. Like a poorly knit sweater made by your nana. T-35 can take out that Panther. There we go. Ace, or eventually Fleet Panther down with that. I think VonAsten is very much out of this battle. The 4th Panzer Division has suffered casualties it cannot sustain and has lost too much momentum. And the Surds are too entrenched by now. So there you go, GG, game over. Good early mid-game here, but VonAsten, when things fell apart, he fell, I think, too much in the defensive, and again, sort of fell into some sort of malaise about the western side of the map, which he really hated going into, despite, again, I think it offered himself path to just making better attacks with his creative. Instead, he just kept attacking into a creative name, had most of the stuff assembled, making much harder to break through, and at least he should have then gone for Tilly to support him, but again, there's no howitzers, no light infantry guns, no took as first. I would have recommended the howitzer or the light infantry guns here, so I feel like that was a bit of an issue there for VonAsten. Creative name could have been from him more. Obviously, he played well. He made good use of his T-35s. He was certainly much more confident, much more bold, aggressive, but also just handled them well. Just keep VonAsten off, guard and just make it hard for him to do what he wants to. So, I mean, overall, well played. They were both players, but in the end, creative name, I feel like just did better. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed this match. Hope you learned something from it. If you did, subscribe, like, share, comment on it, tell friends, tell family, but don't tell your enemies. Also, very big thanks to Sledgehammer for donating and supporting the mighty Propagandacast. Remember, you too can as well. Links in the video description. This is Imperial Links and cheers. Thank you for watching. You're all a wonderful audience. Hope to see you all tomorrow again for a nice episode. Bye.